perk at... Wait.
Okay,
Now, does anyone recognize the name Dorrance?
Oh, yeah, Dorrance Way.
Dorrance Way. So that was a family that lived here. And one of the, James Dorrance was a teacher. And sometimes that's who I find over here.
James Dorrance, lover of science, at your service. I love to imagine a time before human occupation in Carpinteria. A time before Ugluk used the tar to seal his tamol. A time before Higgins sold the tar to pave roads. I think about the ghosts of dire wolves, American lions, and the extinct western horse who roam the beach after losing their lives in the tar. Ages ago, when Rincon Mountain still belched smoke, and there were craters which emitted sulfuric odors, and dank swamps of primordial ooze, a visitor arrived. A bison, new to the area, climbs up to feast on some greenery which hides a black pool of death. Most likely concealed by a layer of water. He steps into the ooze and gets stuck in the tar. He trumpets in terror as the predatory wolves arrive. In turn, the predators become victims of the tar as well. Giant raptors arrive and land on the backs of the animals. A wing, a talon, becomes stuck in the tar. The tar was used to pave roads from Carpinteria to San Francisco. But when the horses and buggies go by, I think about their hoofs pounding the pavement, made partially by the bones of their cousins, Equus occidentalis.
Sometimes I find Anne Wainfleet nearby. Anne has not been seen here for a long time, but I think she was hidden in someone's garage. Anne was the editor and owner of the Carpinteria Chronicle. That newspaper was printed in the 30s and pretty much disappeared. People used it to make a fire, or they used it to wrap some old dishes. Those newspapers were found. All 10 years were found in Jesse Escareno's garage. And they were given to UCSB. UCSB digitized those newspapers. And with that, also released the spirit of Anne Wainfleet.
Good evening. Good evening. Please do come in. Please do come in. My name is Anne Wainfleet Riley. And I was the publisher of the local newspaper, the Carpinteria Chronicle. I was simply thrilled to acquire this newspaper, as it was 1934, and women at the time did not own many newspapers. Of course, I was not involved with advertising, but several months ago, our advertising department accepted a rather large and curious advertisement. The advertisement was about bathing suits. And from the looks of the illustration, it seemed to me that the calculation of 20% off was incorrect. It seemed to me like it was more like 80% off. Oh. Most recently, on a glorious summer's day here in Carpinteria, several colorful bathing suits all along Linden Avenue, people strutting about. Well, there was several bathing suits that seemed to have hardly anything. People walking about, women walking about with looking more like Lady Godiva. Yes, without the white horse, I might add. Well, at any rate, you see, it's very difficult being a publisher, but, well, what can I tell you? My bathing suit ties with a bow in the back. Get behind me, Satan, but don't pull.
So, you're probably all aware that around 1919, it was Prohibition. But it was not Prohibition in Carpinteria. Cars were modified to put booze in. Ships came up to the shore. They were selling beer places that they shouldn't be selling it and making it where they shouldn't be making it. So Carpinteria was never a dry part of the county.
Come closer, come closer. Oh, you are never gonna believe what I found. You'll never believe my luck. By the way, if you do see Buddy, he's just a little black dog. He's very friendly. Don't worry, he won't bite.
He might.
Well, I'll make sure he doesn't. It was a late night in 1919. Buddy and I were taking a walk on this very beach when all of a sudden we hear the sound of hushed voices and someone running away. We look around and we see them jump right into the surf and row away on a small boat into the fog. Who were they? Why were they here? Suddenly I notice a small rope in the sand. I start pulling at it, and I pull and pull and... Oh, Buddy, we're rich! This is where the bootleggers hide their booze! Better be careful. They might be coming back. Better get to work. Oh, I know the Women's Club has been trying to ban alcohol since 1913, writing letters to the editor about how the Hotel Palms has been serving booze with dinner and such. Well, Prohibition has passed, and in 1919, Carpinteria has become a haven for bootleggers, and I heard those rum runners coming back. Oh, I tell ya, you don't want to mess with them. Even the Alcazar Theater's getting in on the action. They sell booze outside their back door. It's so popular, they don't even have time to put it in a bottle. They just ladle it out. Look at this. Whiskey, rum, champagne. It's enough to start a liquor store or cause a murder. Well, I best be getting on my horse and buggy. My husband, Fred, maybe he won't be my husband much longer. Just kidding. But what do you know? I never left this beach. My life ended here.
Whoa. Like a homeless person.
Oh, sorry. I was 10 years old when it happened. I was sitting on the porch with my grandma. I loved her. It was May, right before my birthday. The cows had just been taken down to the beach to be slaughtered, but we didn't slaughter them because we were hungry. Can you feel the cold wind? Anyway, we made so many things out of their hide. People had started ranches, and the Spanish and the Americans needed leather to make saddles and reins, boots and shoes, hats, gloves, vests, chaps. Slaughtered cows are just left on the beach. It didn't make much sense. Me and my grandma tried to make beef jerky as much as we could, but we couldn't keep the meat cold enough to stay preserved. The slaughtered cows are just left on the beach till the tide took them away. They were just left on the beach, and that's when the grizzlies came. Grizzly means bear. There were many, many bears down in Carpinteria Valley because there's plenty of food for them to eat. Berries, insects, dead animals and their carcasses. Many bears came down from the mountains because of the smell of the cows. They were everywhere, and Grandma told me that they would never hurt a person. The bears were down for the cows, but it's hard to remember. That night, they were coming closer and closer to the house, so me and Grandma decided to go inside. Next I remember, they were inside, and they were big and strong and bigger than I was. Oh, Grandma!
There are grizzlies in other states, but even though the grizzly is our state animal, we don't have any more. Mostly because of fear of them, and partly because of lack of food and encroachment into the urban areas. But yeah, grizzlies last shot 1922 in Fresno, California. We have no more in the state.
Swap the deck, lower the sail, drop the anchor.
I have to watch the island. I need to watch the island out there. I am Simon Blunt. It was all my fault. I was captain of the ship. I lost the Winfield Scott on a foggy night. We were carrying $1 million in gold bullion and 500 passengers from San Francisco to the East Coast. I decided to take the quicker route between the Channel Islands and the Santa Barbara coast, but the fog rolled in. I turned south too soon and ran aground on Anacapa Island. I gave my life preserver to another passenger, but we all made it to the rocky beach. We spent 6 desperate days camped on the island. Every box and bag that came ashore was slashed open in hopes of finding something useful. Thieves amongst the passengers tried to take the gold. What for? You can't eat it. You can't drink it. The water turned salty. Just when we started thinking it was hopeless, our campfire was seen and we were picked up by a passing boat. That $1 million is worth $33 million today. Passengers didn't blame me. They actually supported me and said I had high character. I have to watch the islands. I have to watch for campfire smoke. Oh, you know about that gold? Yes, it's still there. I have to watch the island. Swab that deck, Sonny. Where are you? Swab that deck. I gotta watch the islands.
Swap the deck, lower the sail, drop the anchor.
night was 1938. It was a cold December night. I was renting a room at the Palms. You all know the Palms. It was a cold night, and so I shut the door and I shut the windows. And I lit the heater. And I got under my covers. I told myself, okay, before I fall asleep, I'll turn off the heater. So, wrap myself up.
A little louder.
And I was reading my book. And then, in the morning, the proprietress of the hotel came with my breakfast tray. Her name was Laura Sebastian. She took care of all the guests at the hotel. She brought my breakfast tray. She knocked on my door, but I didn't answer. She called my name, Helen, Helen, it's time for breakfast. I still didn't answer. The hairs stood up on the back of her neck. She started to think something must be wrong. She knocked louder. Helen, Helen, wake up! Time for breakfast. I still didn't answer. She knew something was wrong. So she broke the window and climbed in, and a heat wave washed over her. And she choked, and she saw me lying there, and she shook me. Helen, Helen. But I wouldn't wake up. So she ran, picked up the phone, and called for the doctor. Dr. Kashow, this is Laura Sebastian at the Palms. Helen Swinney is here and she won't wake up. I think she left her heater on all night. Dr. Kashow said, I'll be right over. So he raced over, got to the room, saw me lying there, tried to shake me awake, but I wouldn't wake up. He gave me mouth to mouth. I was breathing, but I wouldn't wake up. So he knew it was carbon monoxide poisoning. So he called the pharmacist. Hello, this is Dr. Kashow. I'm over at the Palms, and Helen Swinney won't wake up. I think she has carbon monoxide poisoning. Do you have any serum? Do you have the serum for carbon monoxide poisoning? The pharmacist answered and said that they were all out. We said, so Dr. Kashow said, okay, I'll call the Santa Barbara pharmacist. Hello, this is Dr. Kashow at the Palms in Carpinteria, you know. Helen Swinney is here and she's unconscious. I think she has carbon monoxide poisoning. Do you have the serum? You do? Okay, can you get it to us? Yes, okay, yes, call the police. Have them bring it. So, the pharmacist in Santa Barbara, way down the road, they called the police and Sergeant Dick Proud raced over. He got the serum and he broke the speeding records, driving it to Carpinteria. Got out. He brought it up and gave it to Dr. Kashow. Dr. Kashow injected me with the serum. And it worked. And I woke up. And I lived to see Christmas that year in 1938. Some nights, if you're looking at the Palms, you can see me in the window, shutting that door, shutting the window tight, trying to get warm, and trying to get one Last gasp of breath.
Sometimes we find another spirit around here.
At last! You have arrived! Have any of you ever late at night heard a strange noise, perhaps coming from underneath your bed, and wondered, whatever could that be? Well, I might have the answer for you. You see, so many of us begin new and interesting business ventures every few years. Most of them are agricultural in nature. We plant seeds in the hope that they will thrive in this climate of heat and fog. Livingston began an ostrich farm, but the birds failed to flourish. The silly man, Mr. Stevenson, would try and pump salt water on slabs of concrete to evaporate and sell the salt, but it didn't work. I think it was exposed to too much bird poop and other contaminants. In 1906, I tried to launch a novel business enterprise. You see the salt marsh, the slough? It extended much farther inland, all the way to Ogan Road. So I planted a particular type of fancy turtle called a diamondback terrapin in the pond, with the hopes that I could sell them for turtle soup. Well, in the northeast corner, the water wasn't quite so salty as it was fed fresh water from the slough. Well, I found it almost impossible to contain my turtles in their boundary. And to make matters worse, Clarence Sawyer drained the slough to reclaim the land for building, leaving my poor turtles high and dry with no place left to live. Now, I will tell you the truth. Each and every one of you tonight, child and adult alike, may be a little bit on edge when you go to sleep. You may hear something. A strange noise under your bed. It might be a terrapin turtle simply looking for a safe hiding place to sleep at night. His little nails may scratch on the floor, giving quite a scare to you all. Scratchy, scratchy turtles. Scritchy, scritchy turtles.
And thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
I did have some programs I forgot to hand out, so if you're interested in grabbing a program, you can go back to the picnic table and it has a list of the